Okay, multiplying polynomials. You guys are okay distributing. So if I gave you like negative 4x times 3x to the fifth minus 5x squared plus x minus 2, I know you guys all could come up with negative 12x to the sixth plus 20x to the third minus 4x squared plus 8x. I know you guys all could come up with that. So that's just distributing. We're taking a monomial times a polynomial. But now, the thing we're going to be working on is multiplying a binomial times a binomial. Alright, so example 1. Directions are just to multiply using the distributive property. You're going to hear some teachers refer to it as the double distributive property. And here's why. So here's the first binomial. X plus 8 times x plus 2. Now the reason why they'll call this the double distributive property is because you have to distribute this and this. So you're distributing both. Okay? So let's distribute this x to both of those terms. So x times x, and you guys already know is x squared, x times 2 plus 2x, and now we have to distribute this 8 to both of those exact same terms. So that's why sometimes you'll hear math teachers refer to this as the double distributive property. So now I'm going to take 8 times x, which is 8x, 8 times 2, 16. Alright? Now, what are you noticing? We have like terms. Combine those like terms. X squared plus 10x plus 16. Here's one I want you guys to try. So again, hit pause, give it a try yourself, and then if you get stuck, hit play. Alright, so it's x minus 5 times 2x plus 7. Again, hit pause. Alright, well, let's take this x and distribute it to 2x. So x times 2x is 2x squared. Now, take this same x, distribute it to that 7. So x times 7 plus 7x. Now we have to take this negative 5. You have to remember you're distributing a negative. Alright? We distribute that negative. Negative 5 to 2x. We end up with negative 5 times 2, negative 10. Don't forget to bring that x along. And then negative 5 times 7. We end up with negative 35. Always look for like terms. There's our like terms. Alright? Always look for those like terms. 2x squared, 7 minus 10, negative 3x. Keeping in mind, I'm not changing the exponent. Minus 35. Alright, so that's multiplying using the distributive property, or again, sometimes you'll hear a math teacher refer to it as the double distributive property. Now, there's another way of multiplying these, and it's using a table. So we're going to multiply using a table. And when you're using a table, some students really like this because it keeps things organized. Alright, so here's the problem. Part A. 2x plus 3 times x minus 3. And all this table, and all you're doing with this table, you take the first polynomial, all right? In this case, that binomial, 2x plus 3. You write 2x and 3, and you're going to separate it. Put some lines. Here's our table. And now you're going to take the x minus 3. You're going to put the x there, and then the minus 3 there. All right. So now you're going to take 2x times x, and you're going to write it in there. So 2x times x, 2x squared. Now you're going to take this x times that 3, and you're going to write it in that place. So 3 times x is simply 3x. We come back to this 2x. We come back to that 2x, and now we're multiplying it by negative 3. 2x times negative 3, negative 6x. And then, last but not least, oh, okay, that didn't work. Let's take this. Let's take that 3 times this negative 3. I hope this shows up for you guys. And we end up with negative 9. And now, the thing I'm hoping you guys notice, is negative 6x, positive 3x. Oh, sorry guys. I'm hoping that you notice this 3x and that negative 6x are like terms. So we write down the 2x squared, add those two together, add them together, negative 6x plus 3x, negative 3x minus 9. Part B, you guys try this. X plus 3 times x minus 8. Alright, you try. Hit pause, give it a try. Try using this table. You guys know the way I am, that I'm not going to force you to use it. But I do want you to try it one time to see if you like it. Alright, so I'm hoping you gave it a try. Remember, we take that first binomial, x and 3. We write our table. Alright, take this next binomial, x and negative 8. Do you notice I kept the sign with it? Alright, so let's start multiplying. X times x, x squared. Now we have 3 and x. Multiply those two together. 3x. Now we're going to take this x times this negative 8. X times negative 8, simply negative 8x. And then, lastly, the constants. 3 times negative 8, negative 24. So we start looking at this, and again, what do we notice? Negative 8x plus 3x, like terms, so we combine those. It's not always going to happen. These easy problems, yeah, those are going to be the like terms, but it's not always going to happen. So I have x squared minus 5x minus 24. Alright, so I hope you actually tried using the table just that one time. You know, you don't know if you like it or not unless you actually try it. Alright, example 3. Here we're going to use, when you're going to multiply, you're going to use this acronym called FOIL. Now, there's a lot of math teachers that don't like this term, but that's alright with me, if you like it. So the F stands for the first. Let me try doing this so it stands out for you guys. So that's for the first term. The O is for the outer terms. The I is for the inner terms. And then the L represents the last terms. And I'll explain. So, using this example, 3x minus 4 times 6x plus 1. So the first, this is the first term in that binomial. Here's that first term in the second binomial. Those are both the first. So 3x times 6x gives me 18x squared. Now we're going to take the outer. We're going to take the outer terms. Let's take the outer terms. So this is the outside term because it's all the way to the left. Here's the outside term in that binomial because it's all the way to the right. They're on the outsides. So 3x times 1 just gives me 3x. Now let's do the inner. The inner term is this negative 4 and this 6x. So those two are the insides of the term. So negative 4 times x, negative 24x. And then the last. The last are going to be the negative 4 because it's the last term, and that positive 1 because it's the last term. Well, we end up with negative 4. And then again, you're noticing, oh, sorry guys, you notice like terms. Combine those like terms. 18x squared minus 21x minus 4. Alright, so here's a FOIL term. Now you're going to notice FOIL and double distributive property are exactly the same thing. Alright, I don't care what you call it. Again, some math teachers hate this acronym FOIL, but I don't care. FOIL and double distributive property are exactly the same thing. Alright, you try it. Hit pause, give it a try. Alright, so the first terms, 2x times x, 2x squared, 2x times 4, the two outside terms, plus 8x. Now let's look at the inside terms. Negative 5 times x. Don't forget, do not forget that negative. Alright, don't forget that negative sign. So negative 5 times x, negative 5x. And then negative 5 times 4. Those are the last two. The last terms. We end up with negative 20. Our like terms, again, this is not always going to happen, but on these nice easy problems you're going to see it quite a bit. 2x squared plus 3x minus 20. Now when you're working, I don't care which of these three methods you use. Pick one, get used to it, and you can use that one all the time.